Hello, welcome to the West Ham Grumble, a special FA Cup edition. We've just crashed out the FA Cup, as we all know, losing 1-0 to West Brom at the London Stadium. And what an absolute shower that has been. If we were any doubt that we were in trouble, I think we all firmly know exactly what's going on now. But if you want to join in, come in live. This is real short notice, a real sort of knee-jerk reaction to the game. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there today. I've had to work, but obviously watch the live game. We obviously got the lads actually at the game as well, sort of feeding me lots of info as well. It's just been a terrible time. Things just get worse and worse. Adds fuel to the fire. And that's just something we just didn't want to happen at all. And like Slav and Dixie, they come back with West Brom. It was good that they can come back at West Brom. But, for me, it was never really going to be a case that we should give anybody an easy ride. That's exactly what we've done. We've actually given them an easy ride. I mean, who in their right mind can actually say that, we weren't expecting West Brom to come at us like that, full of energy, full of pace, hit the wings, and put crosses in as soon as they could, and that's what they did. They had purpose in their play. It's kind of championship level. It's very one-dimensional in many ways, but it was still effective. They were playing not at always the best quality, but they were playing at pace, at energy, and with purpose. And they had a plan. And their players knew exactly what they needed to do. And that comes down to good coaching, good management, good structure from their club, and especially from Slav and Dixie and the rest of their coaching staff, of course. And their players who put in a shift. And they wanted it more. They wanted it more than us. Now, Moyes set up, 4-4-2. But our players, defensively, we were just all over the place. If it wasn't for Randolph in the first half, that made a couple of half decent saves, it could have been 3 or 4-0 down. Yeah, we had a couple of chances, but, Nobes could have squared it, right at the last minute, but, just went over the bar. But it just was poor. It was just poor. Then half-time, Moyes made the change of formation, a kind of 4-3-3. Brought on Antonio and Nobes, and it was just rubbish. It was just rubbish. No passion, no purpose, no drive. And you read all this stuff online, don't you? You read all this stuff where people say, "Oh, they just don't care. They just, And I always think, "Oh, shut up. Of course they care. Of course they care. What are you on about? Of course they care. They care about West Ham. They got professional pride. Of course they do." But the problem is, it just doesn't show sometimes. And the way we see it is in the level of energy. That's where and if we don't see it in that, that's where we have the impression that it's just. There's no care there. There's no purpose. There's no commitment there. Moyes has not got on top of this. He hasn't got on top of the players, and he hasn't got on top of the formation that's going to work. Yes, we're suffering with injuries. Yes, we've got players out of form. Yes, we've got a short squad or a shallow squad, I should say. Yes, the owners, haven't pulled their finger out of their backsides and actually, giving us a squad and invested in the squad. Yes, there's all that. But the players that you've got there, they should be putting on a better performance and playing better than they have done. I'm not just isolating this game against West Brom. I'm isolating, lots of other performances as well. Look, I mean, if you like this, give it a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, and subscribe to the channel as well. Let us know. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to do more, bring in more opinions, both from away from the ground, discussion topics, and also from the ground as well, especially at the Supporters Club where we are. The old like, share, and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. So we'd really appreciate that. But more than that, more than any of that nonsense, just get involved, leave loads of comments, and let us know what your thoughts are in the chat, and on any of our shows. You're always welcome. And say, if you ever want to get involved in any one of the shows, Get in touch with us via the website. Send us an email. So, you know, I'd like to appear on one of the videos or one of the discussion videos, something like that. Do it. You know, well, you're always welcome. If you're a West Ham fan, absolutely. I have no ill feeling towards West Brom today because they thoroughly deserved it. I didn't want them to win. I didn't want anything of the sort. I wanted us to smash them. I wanted us to, you know, send them back up, you know, up to the Midlands with a tail between their legs. I wanted to bloody Bilic's nose and Dixie's nose. I wanted to rub their faces in it. But you know what? They did it to us. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough that we have got players on big wages, big money. We've paid big fees for them. And regardless of the lack of quality, then we're not playing them with a plan. Nobody is playing with a plan there. And this isn't just this season. This has been going on since, well, you could say it's been going on for years and years and years. But certainly since we moved to the London Stadium, there's been a dramatic change. And maybe we didn't really expect it before. Maybe it was just like, well, do you know what? It's the way, you know, sometimes we have good games, sometimes bad games. We don't always expect to win. We don't always expect to have a good show. But we're West Ham, you know, we'll do whatever we do. But because of what was said, because of where we've gone, because of what's happened, there's an expectation now. The expectation is that we should be doing a lot better than we are. And that expectation has been sorely failed because there's been no investment in the squad, in the club, in the infrastructure. It's all wrong. Everything at the club is wrong. So you get one result, one negative result, and everybody's going to be hopping mad. And I'm hopping mad because it's absolutely the wrong thing. We should not be in this situation. Paul, thank you for joining, Paul. Thanks for the message. Here we go. We are an embarrassment, and they don't care. As soon as we get relegated, do you know what, Paul? I've got a strong feeling that might be the case. I've got a feeling that because investors are going after championship clubs or League One clubs or League Two clubs, that's where they're putting the money in. They're not putting them into Premier League clubs because you need to be a multi-billionaire to do it. You know, it doesn't make financial sense. But you go down the league, you can put your money in. That's where Wolves have got their money. That's where other clubs have got their money. And then they sort of build them back up. And maybe that's it. Do you know what? And sometimes if you'd asked me all, you know, the time before, should we go down? Is it a good thing? I'd say absolutely not. What's the matter with you? Of course it isn't. It's a terrible thing to. But do you know what? I've been there before. We've been there before with West Ham. We get relegated. We have the Forest fire sale, you know, and then we come back to life again. And maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we need. Gary, the board will sell all. Hello, Gary. I don't know. Will they sell? The thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing for everybody. The reason why they're not selling, the reason why they're staying put, the reason why we're never going to get rid of them is because they're in the Premier League with a cash cow. That is a Premier League. It's the Wonga. They're earning it. As soon as we get relegated, because there's a real risk of it, you know, then they're going to lose it. Based upon that alone, right? Why are they not digging into their purses and actually going out and spending money straight away? And going out, and don't give me all this flannel saying, oh, we can't really get players to come to us and everything. Just offer them the money. Just pay the money. Get rid of this, you know, supposedly £50% wage cut, whatever. Just get them in. You know, pay over the odds for loan deals or whatever. Just entice them with a carrot to bring them in. Because if you're that serious about protecting that cash cow that is the Premier League, then you've got to do it. They're not doing it. Incompetent. Tim, hello, Tim. How are you? If we go down, I don't see us come back anytime soon if we play like that. Do you know what? Absolutely right. Look, it's not just about today, though, is it, Tim? It's been for a long time. If we play like that, teams in the Championship are going to rip us apart. If we went down, let's forget about going down right in a minute. Let's just say it's now to the end of the season. If we play like that, or how we have been playing, we're not going to win a game. We'll barely get any points at all. You know, this could be the worst performance by a Premier League side since Derby got relegated a few years ago, if you remember. They had a shocking shocking tally at the end of the season. It could be like that, you know. Mark, hello, Mark, how are you? Thanks for joining. Club needs a cleaning from top to bottom. You're absolutely right. It needs bleach getting through there. Bleach all over the place. You know, disinfect the whole place. It's rotten. People keep on saying this word. It's rotten from the core. It is bloody rotten. Absolutely right. It's rotten. It's a disgrace. You know, look, Lewis. Hello, Lewis. We get new man. We got new manager. We win one. We lose. We lose all the other games. That's right. You know, I'm willing to give Moyes the benefit of the doubt up until today. Up until today, I'm willing to get to grips with it. But there is part Moyes here, but it's definitely part players as well. And obviously there is the board and everything that you know, the club that haven't invested in players. But we've got to motivate these players better. You know, you've got to get more coaches for a start, and you've got to get your finger on the pulse. You've got to get more players in. As I say, it's just, you know, we've won one, drawn one. Won one, and we won a cup game, of course. So yeah, effectively 1-2, drawn one, and then lost everything else. Rubbish, not good enough. Gary again. We lose lots of fans unless they go. We are down. Yeah, they will lose lots of fans. Like, look, we all know that the stadium's going to be half empty next season, and because we know, regardless of whether they're West Ham fans or not, a lot of those fans in there are Premier League fans, not necessarily club fans. Now, I've always said, and I say this to my lad who, you know, I got to support our club as well. And I said, you know, look, it doesn't matter if we get relegated all the way down to the conference. You know, once you pick your team, that's it. It's a team for life. So you stay with them for life. So if you're going to go and see them or not, but you still stay with them for life. And that's what we do, don't we? It does, and we're not alone. Every team's like that. Every fan's like that. You know, but oh dear, I'm so angry, and I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you are too. Dom, hello, Alf. We'll struggle in League One. Do you know what? Can you imagine us doing a Sunderland here? Can you imagine us? We go down the Championship, we get completely pasted. We go, you know, we're going to League One. I know I'm spouting off now, and I do apologise if I say something out of turn, but I'm going to say it anyway, right? All I've got to say to you is 2 words, and I said this in our little group chat the other day. 2 words: Coventry City. Coventry City. Okay, no ground, no tangible assets. Went down. No investment, mismanagement all the time. Guess what? They're playing their games in, you know, St Andrews in Birmingham, would you believe? Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. We could be that in the worst case scenario. Paul again. Why don't you think the players don't care? Why don't you think the players don't care? Or why don't? I think they do care, and I think it just doesn't come across with that energy. But I think they do care. You know. More West Ham or WHU. These performances have been part of the club under multiple managers. Cunha has to be recalled. Sanchez can't play for us. You know, like Sanchez, forget it. Well, what you know, when he first played for us, you know, when he first came on, you know, the start last season, was it? Because he was injured for the rest of the season. I thought, yeah, he's got some touches. He's got a bit of calmness about him. And then he made a couple of wayward passes, and I thought, what the hell is this lad all about? And then he, you know, gave away a couple of passes, and I think it was a Wolves game, wasn't it, last season, that, you know, he just gave the ball away and they went on to score and beat us. And it was just like, oh, God, you know. Oh, here we go. Solly left early. I think he did, yeah. I don't get what's going on. I've given up. I don't care. If we go down, I'll still get my season ticket. I support the club and the club. Look, I'm of the same opinion. Of course I am. And Gary, I will, you know, still support, and I will still go to all the games as my life will allow. You know, I'll still be a season ticket holder and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's the complete end of the world, which a lot of people would say. Maybe a lot of younger fans might think, oh, it is the end of the world going down. Financially, it may not be the worst thing because of the lack of overheads that we have at the club. We've still got the parachute payment go down. The problem is we will struggle if we don't come back up again, especially without any tangible asset. We won't attract any proper investors and players to come to play for us. You know, of course we do, Lewis. Yeah, we support them through thick and thin. Of course we do, but it doesn't stop us getting pissed off by it, really. You know, Moyes won't come with us if we go down. He doesn't. Yeah, well, yeah, probably not. But then again, if Moyes get, it could be the start of something new. It could be the start of a mass exodus from the club of everybody. Everybody would say we're leaving. I think vast majority of players want out. Well, yeah, there probably won't be. I think, look, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like a virus. It's a virus that spreads around. It's lack of confidence, lack of being happy at your club. Everything's not working out for you. And when everything's not working out for you, everything gets really hard work. If you've ever, we've all played the game at some level in our lives, and you have those tough matches and you have those tough runs, but it is about keeping up. And if you can't do it, then you need to inject something else in there. You need new players to get in there, and we haven't. Lewis, at halftime, all West Ham were doing was kicking a ball. Then West Brom were doing proper work. Yeah. And then they Slav, his proper inferior training, and coaching. Why does Moyes still keep playing Lanzini? He's finished everyone. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish there was a reason why, we're playing. Maybe we're so stretched at the moment. That's the only thing we can play. But Lanzini's just not having a good time. Haller and Ayeti in the first 20, 25 minutes, I thought they were trying, but again, not enough people around them. Still playing too far apart. We were too compact in the middle of the field. Not enough width, not enough pace, not enough power, not enough quick decision making. It's all of the above, all of it. You know it. I don't have to tell you. You know it. You can see it. Whether you're in the stadium or not, you can see this. Whether you're around the world or not. And this is one of the reasons why, I wanted to start doing this online stuff. 3 or 4 years ago, you would never have seen me online. You would never have seen me in any sort of YouTube football content or Twitter or anything like that. I just didn't do it. In fact, I wasn't involved in anything. Then I started writing because I had a writing background, a magazine background. Then I turned my hand to football and everything like that. And obviously West Ham. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it is that actually I wasn't really concerned about the fans that go to the games. I was actually concerned about the fans who don't go to the games, wherever you are in the world, whether you're here in the UK or anywhere else in the world. And to give that first-hand perspective, or to give that finger on the pulse perspective of what's going on, that the media don't cover, that the media don't get, that the media don't understand what's going on at our club. And also, you can argue that they don't understand what's going on in most clubs as well, the nitty-gritty. We're just so poor. We're so broken as a club. And the only thing that we can say is probably as a fan base, we're being stretched as a fan base, I think. But we're still together. We're still together in our support for the club and our support for wanting us to do well. And I think the consensus has got to be that we want a change of ownership. We want something to change. It's got to be. It's probably the difference is how it goes about, how we show our displeasure, how we show our dissension, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I wish I had the answer. I wish I could say to you, I got the answer. Look, there we go. But look, I did say Slav will win the FA Cup and get promoted, and we go down. It's written in the stars. Gary, you could be right. You could be right. I wouldn't be surprised. Hello, no Carton Cole, not strong enough. Well, I just don't think he's not putting it about enough. I don't think he's mobile enough. I don't think he's running the channels enough. Yeah, you could argue he's not that player, but then he's got to be adaptable. If you're paying 42 or 43 million or whatever he bloody costs, that player's got to be adaptable. You can't just say, "Oh, he only ever played with a 3 before," up front. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've got to play to his strength. Yes. You've got to give him support. Yes. But he's got to put in a work rate as well. What do you think, Mark? Hello, Mark. How are you? What do you think of a 5-3-2 with Noble, Rice, and Fornals, Antonio, and Masuaku? Oh, sorry, I've lost your Masuaku's impact. I've always been a strong believer, have a strong defence and move up. The only problem with that is that you've got to have a 5-3-2. You've got to have lots of pace on the wings. And Masuaku is not whilst he is pacey, he just messes around too much. So I struggle with him. I think sorry, and Antonio, you saying Antonio as a wing back? Well, he didn't like that under Bilic anyway, did he? And he wasn't that. Perhaps. We need to do something. We need to change things up a little bit. I don't think 5-3-2 is going to work for us. If anything, it's got to go right back to basics. If it's 4-4-2, defensively today we're all over. So it doesn't matter what formation we're playing. If we're just crap, it's not going to work, is it? I don't know. Look, the play. Here we go. Look. Some random toddlers animations. I like that name. Look, the players don't care. They may not do. They may not care. I don't know. Look, Richard. Hello, Richard. Yes, you leave lots of comments on the videos. Thank you for that. Moyes out because the players are not playing for him because they have no respect for him. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if they have no respect for him because they are professionals at the end of the day. And they are professionals who are having a really bad time and they're out of form. And they probably have been lost in the wilderness for a long time. I'm not sure if they don't have respect for him because that's going to be hard to say. It's just not, he hasn't found the magic ingredient yet to get these players going yet. Will he ever do it? Don't know. Is he using the wrong tactics? Possibly so. I'll give you that, but I don't know, I'm sorry, guys. I'm struggling to keep up with the comments. So I'll try and do the best I can. That's why I don't get a lot of overseas fans. That's what I don't get. A lot of overseas fans won't be able to watch games if we go down. So that will mean we can support. Okay, right. You get the gist of that, right? So Gary, here's the thing. Lots of overseas fans. There is something for the Championship clubs. I think they do it for League One, League Two. I'm not sure. You have to stand and correct it on here. There is something called iFollow, a little dot I, and then it's follow. Now it really depends if West Ham, if they go down and if they adopt this video streaming service. Basically, each club can stream their own games. There we go. I think we're just about to have Stel come on as well. So if we go down and West Ham enable it, you'll be able to. They should be able to video their own games, and you'll be able to watch them wherever you are in the world. Hopefully, West Ham. Right, here we go. I'm going to bring in Stel. Stel, how are you, mate?
You all right, mate? Can you hear me?
No sound. Yeah, I can hear you just about.
Yeah. Hang on. Well.
Where are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Where are you?
I'm still at the supporters club.
Right. Okay. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Right. This is a live report from the supporters club from our man Stel on the ground. There we go. This is almost like watching the news, isn't it? Watching the BBC news here. Anyway, Stel, let us know your thoughts. What's going on today?
Well, I think you saw from our post-match review that it was a pretty disappointing result. We only turned up in the last 25 minutes of the game. It looks like there's just no belief in the way we play. The first half was woeful. The second half was marginally better. And as I said, maybe in the last 25 minutes or so, we started to get going. But it was too late then. We were chasing the game, even though it was 1-0. We were still chasing the game and we started to get desperate. Ironically, in the last 25 minutes of the game, we started to create more chances than we have probably all season. But our shooting, you could see how desperate we were because the shooting was off, wasn't on target. It was
Yeah.
pretty woeful. You could see that the players were just getting more and more desperate. And it's really sad to see that, and it's such a shame because the FA Cup could have been the one saving grace for West Ham this season, in order to get some momentum, and we let it go because we let it go in the first half. Let me just say, in the first half, the worst players on the pitch were Balbuena and Sanchez.
Yes.
Balbuena, every time he passed the ball, it went to an opposition player.
Yeah,
Didn't
we were
manage
shocking
to,
defence.
yeah.
Shocking defence.
Then Sanchez was just watching the game go past him.
Yeah.
You know, how he managed to actually even make the team today was I think everyone was really sort of surprised by. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see because, you know, as West Ham fans, if you can't cheer the team on in the league, then you've got the cups to to sort of look forward to. But even in the cup now, we're out, you know, we got better as the game wore on. Absolutely, we started to really go for it. We were trying. It excited the fans a little bit more, but it was too little, too late, really. And it's such a shame. It's such a shame. Now all we've got to look forward to is a relegation battle. And who would have thought that at the beginning of the season?
Well, let me just come in there, Stel. Look, I've got some stats here on the game, which is really, makes it interesting. It was a possession, which I don't always believe in. Possession, we had 56 to their 54. We had 15 shots to their 11. We had 3 shots on target, so did they. We had 3 corners to their 5. We had 9 fouls to their 8. Pretty much even there. Everything really, a little bit difference in the possession and everything like that. Maybe we had a few more shots on target, and that was mostly, I suppose, in this sort of coming on the second half. But I just think it's poor. I just think it's really, really poor. As I said right at the start of this stream, that we knew how West Brom were going to come at us. It was typical, high-paced, high-energy stuff. It's championship style football. It was basics. It's width. It's crosses. It's getting in the ball. But if we're making so many calamitous mistakes in defence and making such poor passing in our defence and defensive midfield, we're always gonna be under pressure anyway. But then if our attack is just crap as well, then
exactly. I mean, the actual goal, as much as it was a good strike, the actual goal was a calamitous affair.
Yeah.
In defence, where it kicked the ball, it rebounded off one of our defenders, came out to their player who scored, and that's the sort of thing that's a Premier League team, if they were playing with confidence, wouldn't have done. They wouldn't have sort of like just when trying to boot the ball away. It was like it was pinball, and it was shocking, and it was embarrassing, and that's how they got their goal, because apart from I think another shot or two on target, they didn't have much of the play. But as you just said, Alf, our attack, we came out in the second half, we played 4-3-3. We had a Yeti, Antonio, and Allaire up front.
Yeah.
And I kind of expected us to do a lot more than what we did. And we did start to have chances because West Brom started to get, I don't know, maybe a bit tired or whatever. But we were desperate, rather than being composed like a Premier League team should be. We started to get desperate, and we started to sort of whack the ball like we were shooting from angles that were not going to go in. We kept missing we didn't give their keeper. We didn't test him at all. And then of course we had Noble right near the end.
Exactly.
Who, poor no. I mean, I've got to be honest. I've been a massive Noble critic in the past, but I can't criticize him today because he came out really trying, and then he had that shot. He just leant back too far.
Yeah,
it was almost celebrating before he kicked it.
Yeah.
And you just kind of knew at that point that it wasn't going to be our day, and and it's sad for West Ham fans. Talking to people here in the supporters club, and there's a lot of people saying, I ain't going to renew my season ticket next season. But
is that kind of reactionary, though? Is that just because we're all feeling really hacked off by it and think, I'm not renewing?
I don't think it is, to be honest with you. I don't think it is reactionary because we've been subjected to this from the 7th game of the season onwards, where we seem to be woeful. A lot of people criticise a lot of our star signings. Criticise the likes of Anderson and Allaire, etc., etc. Now, I kind of expect. I saw a little bit more fight in Allaire today, but not enough.
First off,
and the only people that seemed to want to do anything were the usual, the usual suspects. Noble and Antonio. Now, Antonio was touching his hamstring as if to suggest I'm fucked, and it looks like don't expect him to play against Liverpool on Wednesday because it looks like we brought him back again too soon. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, he should have started, but in all honesty, he clearly isn't fit enough to start.
No.
It's why he was only brought on, and I genuinely don't think Moyes wanted to play any of the subs that he brought on. He wanted to save them for Liverpool, but he had no choice. He had absolutely no choice. Now, there was also a Yeti who everyone said he needs a chance. Well, he's had his chance.
Yeah.
And there were there was a lot of effort there, but he's not Premier League class.
No.
And
he might be Championship League class, though.
Is he champion? Well,
maybe.
I said this to people here in the supporters club earlier. Why did we loan out all our under-23s? Nathan Holland,
shocking.
Josh Cullen from the beginning of the season, etc. And what it seems to be happening is we seem to be getting them ready, playing in the lower leagues so that they can play in the Championship next season. That's what it feels like. And it doesn't even look like we're going to buy anyone. We start making these stupid fucking offers, for the likes of Cash from Nottingham Forest. And we know what Nottingham Forest are asking for, and yet we offer a lot less and then the rest of the money over a period. It's like either buy the players or don't, and I think we're ready for the Championship, mate.
No, I said right.
The FA Cup was the icing on the cake.
Yeah. I said right at the start of the stream again as well. I said in one of my little rants, I said basically, if the club or the owners really cared about the club in terms of finances and they wanted to protect the cash cow income that is the Premier League, then they have to invest in the squad. And they should have done it already. We shouldn't be talking about it now. They should have already done it to protect that, but they haven't done it. So it kind of makes you wonder. Are they that bothered about going down? I don't think they were that bothered about going down last time,
Yeah, I wonder what's going through their heads, because if we go down, they'll end up selling all our star players. So the likes of Rice and Fornals and Allaire, etc. They'll end up getting well over £100 million income from players that they'll sell, and then they might spend maybe 20 or 30 million of that for players in the Championship. So they would have ended up making 50, 60, 70 million pounds out of selling our star players and then only buying 20, 30 million pounds worth of players for the Championship. And I wonder if they're gambling on, well, if we go down, we'll go back up. We'll either go straight back up or we'll be in the playoffs. Trust me, we won't be in either. We'll end up being a mediocre mid-table Championship team for probably the next 5 or 6 seasons. That's what will happen. So they're doing a massive gamble, and they must be thinking in their heads, 18 months time, we don't have to pay anything for the stadium as well. So we might sell up, but we might have another 70, 80 million pound in the bank if we sell all these top players. It's just a ridiculous way to run a club, but there you go.
Let me ask you something.
My battery's about to go. So I'm going to go off, mate. So
okay, right.
Apologies.
Well, thanks for joining us, Stel. Live from the Supporters Club, and thanks for giving us that insight, mate. And I'll see you again.
Cheers, mate.
See ya. Right. Well, there you have it. Stel live at the Supporters Club, and I think he's reiterating pretty much everything that we're all feeling as well. I think, Richard, I want to go back to one of your comments from before. So I try to put it up, and I think you said, right, here we go. They said, Richard, thank you for posting this. So this proves to me our failure has nothing to do with managers, but simply the lack of the ability of the players. I think it's a combination of both. I think we've had problems with every player, or lots of players that we've had just haven't found form. They've underperformed. So that's lack of quality of the players. But on paper, they should be high quality players, a lot of them. They've just been so slow in getting off the ground, and then none of them hit the ground running. They've been so slow in developing, and then each manager has either played the players out of position or has not played other players in supporting roles better. So that's the problem. It's we had on paper you should say we should have a decent side. It just hasn't worked for a long time. Mark, here we go. I think that was trying to lower the wage bills, loaning players to free some up as Deadwood we have, or not leaving anytime soon. Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a way of trying to balance some books or try and get some money in as well. Football finances is a minefield anyway. I mean, you've got to be a mafia accountant just to keep on top of everything, really. The way all the deals are done, and all the little drip feeding of payments and all that kind of stuff. It is an absolute minefield. But look, people ask, where's all the money gone? Where's all the money? Well, the problem is it's spending it. It's mismanagement. It's misspending on players. It's misspending on the amount of money on wages, let's say. And then for a club that doesn't have a stadium, the overheads of a stadium, the all the sort of security and policing and all that kind of stuff, we're going to pay $2.5 million a year or whatever it is, for the London Stadium. Ridiculously poor amount. We should be making a lot. We should be doing a lot more and investing in the squad. That amount of money should be going into the squad. They don't. They haven't. It's a really poor show. I'm not sure what I was expecting today, because I kind of expected, as I said, West Brom to come at us and give us a really good game. I was just hoping in my heart of hearts that we'd actually beat them. And beat them convincingly, but it just didn't happen. And I think somebody else said, Jesse was playing against Championship side today, and he didn't even look good enough to play against them. So maybe he's a League One player. I don't know. I mean, people have said that before as well. But it's just like any player. If they're not playing well, then all of a sudden they just lack that confidence, and it's a downward spiral. And it's just. Oh dear, here we go. They all look scared. How do you combat that? Well, I don't know. I think you could have said the same thing about England players over the years in tournaments and stuff. They look scared when they go to tournament football, and it's kind of a little bit like that. There's almost like they feel there's so much pressure, the weight of expectation from all the fans, and it's almost like there's lots of mistakes going on. There's lots of almost sometimes they're scared to go forward just in case there's they leave gaps at the back. A lot of that, you want a manager sometimes to say, look, just go out and express yourself, go out on the attack, go and do that. But if they do that and we lose because we're leaving lots of gaps behind, we're all going to slay them and say, where's your defense? It's always about finding that happy medium, isn't it? Dave Lambourne. Hello, Dave. Thank you for joining. Going down up, we've got no chance. Do you know what I think? You echo the sentiments of many a West Ham fan. I think, I've always tried to remain positive. I've always tried to predict a win in every single game. Yes, I am a deluded old fool. I know that. But I think you're right. I think it's not just the results. Actually, the results are kind of irrelevant right now. It's the manner of the performances. That's what it is. And if you're going down without any kind of real fight, now I'll tell you what, if I was a Norwich City fan, whilst they are in a worse situation than us, I would be a happier person, because I would say, look, at least they've got ability to go forward and score goals. We always look as if we're going to struggle. We always look, terrible. Samantha, TKO. I don't know what TKO is. It's just, how much in wages do GSB take? Like they need it. All three of them are millionaires. Should they? They've had their money out of it by now. I don't actually know if they take wages per se, but certainly Brady does in terms of that. I don't know about Gold and Sullivan, what they do, but obviously they take interest off the loan back to the club as well. So they're earning. They're definitely earning. Bringing the youth, at least they would take pride in wearing the shirt. Yeah, that's a problem, Paul. I've always said this. Let's get more youth in. Let's bring them up through the ranks. But if we're taking the best youth players and we're putting them out on loan, we don't have that option. Garner, for Christ's sake, why are we sending him off when he's a hot young prospect and he had a few games last season? Why are we sending him off? Yes, to give him more regular first team football somewhere else. But I'll tell you what, why don't we give him let him have first team football with us? He had pace, Gary, could it be they now have 60,000 seats of eyes on them now? And how would they feel at Upton Park? It was much more intimate. Well, it was. It was. I've always said that the move to the London Stadium is going to be a difficult one. We, as a fan base, we should have said no a lot more vocally. We were all caught up with it as a collective about the idea of doing something different and going somewhere else. But it has been an unmitigated disaster right from the word go. Lack of investment, all the nonsense PR stuff, all the stuff from the owners and all the stuff that's gone on in the club. It's just a nonsense. But what I've said is this: since we moved, since we all realised this is absolutely wrong, we shouldn't. This move is wrong. The stadium is wrong. The seating is wrong. All that kind of stuff. You can kind of let that slide a little bit. You can be all that sort of stuff that we're unhappy about. You can kind of think, okay, yeah, it's not that important if we're getting loads of investment in the squad and we're getting loads of great performances and results out of the players and we're doing well. But because there hasn't been that, and because there's been such poor performances, everything else seems so much worse. And that's the reason. So when we talk about the stadium, when we talk about 60,000 seats or 62,500 seats, Brady keeps on going on about, well, do you know what? It's going to take a whole generation now of fans to come to terms and to start accepting the London Stadium as our home. And it's going to need dramatic changes over that time. It's going to take a whole generation. We're talking 25 years. And that means the 25 years of the kids that you see at the stadium now, going with their mums and dads, okay, when they're adults, they're the ones who are going to be the adult West Ham fans, and they won't have known any different. And that's the reason. When us old fools, we stop going or we can't go anymore, it's because we won't keep on harping on about old days, and that's it. It takes a generation, Seaside Hammer. Hello. This was West Brom reserves. Yeah, they had quite a few players out. Yeah, just like Leicester did us a few weeks ago. Not the one before. The one before that on the 28th of December. Yeah, they put out the reserves and stuffed us as well. Oh, there we go. 8 changes. They're saving themselves for far more important game of Cardiff on Tuesday. A 38 and a 35-year-old in their midfield, and they bossed that midfield, especially first half. Especially Barry. I've always liked Barry as a player, actually. Richard, Moyes does play wingers, so no point recalling Garner and Holland and keep Marcus Brown. Well, actually, I disagree with you, Richard. I disagree with you totally. I don't think that Diangana should have gone. I think we should have kept him because it's about the depth of squad. That's what it's about. And it's about having pace in the side. And it's about bringing on a substitute who could actually possibly turn it on, even if it's 10, 15 minutes when the other team are getting, a little bit tired. Bring on a really pacey player. You'd have a Yarmolenko on there, first of all, maybe always cutting in with his left foot. Bring on Diangana. Totally changes the dynamics of our attack on the right-hand side. And all of a sudden, we've got options. That's what I'm on about. Okay, it's not about just having, one or two players. It's actually having about 3 or 4 options in the squad, in the playing squad and the training squad. That's what I'm talking about. Seaside, please, no one say we are in a relegation, but as you need soldiers who are prepared to fight in the battle. But do we have them? Do we have them? Do we have those soldiers? We've got a massive battle, yes, but do we have soldiers? I'm not so sure. Gary, why wasn't no a chance to the board after the game? Do you know what? I don't know. And off air, I was sort of speaking to the lads as well, speaking to other friends as well. We're not Irons United related, and I don't know. I know there are sort of protests and everything supposedly being organised. I'm not sure about this, so you'd have to go to the protest site. I think there were some rumours about the Liverpool game, but I think it's all going to be organised. I'm not sure. I think everybody's trying to do the right thing with these protests, but the problem is, the more the performances are terrible, let's say, the results don't go our way, you can see this getting ramped up. There you go, Anthony. Sorry, I'm sure not Anthony. So Anthos. Is it Anthos? Anthos. Lodomatos. There we go. Is that Greek? Is it? Right. Okay. Support the Irons for 45 years. Yeah, you and me too. Never seen such passionate, lack of skill, demotivated bunch of headless chickens running around. Truly clueless bunch of so-called footballers, managers, and owners. Well, there you have it. That's pretty much, I suppose, what we all think, really. Look, I mean, I've said it sort of time and time. We've had bad years. We've had, in fact, lots of bad years. We've had lots of bad performances over the years. And let's be under no illusion here. Just because we're at London Stadium doesn't mean that this is the first time we're ever putting on poor performances. But as I keep on saying, it's that and the poorness of everything, and the combination of our heightened expectation now that we were all promised that we should all be having now. That's the whole point of the move. Let's not forget that. The whole point of the move was to have better days, and it hasn't happened. So we're kind of 4 years in now, and it's still the same. In fact, it's probably getting worse, really, in many ways. When actually the players that we've brought in should be better. You were just as excited as I was right at the start of the season when we're getting these players. Last season with Pellegrini, we spent 100 million players. I know the problem is we sold too many players, and again, it's about having this depth, about having this options, isn't it? But I was excited, and we're all making statements. Yeah, this is going to be a great year. Top 6, top 7. Yeah, we can do something. Maybe a couple of years we'll be fighting for Europe. Underperforming, out of form, not hit the ground running, bad coaching, bad tactics, bad substitutions. Terrible. Max, here we go. Sorry. Right, sorry. Not really annoyed, am I? Well, I don't know. Are you? I don't know. Maybe. Here we go. Right. Desjardins Letelec. I think you're French. Hello. Bonjour, bonsoir to you too. Do you think Haller lacks the quality and heart required for 47 million? I don't think he lacks the quality. I think heart is a very difficult one to say because that's just maybe his natural demeanor, just the way he acts. I just don't think he's shown the energy and the adaptability to play with us right now. And maybe his type of quality, let me put it this way, is not what we needed at West Ham. We needed more fighters, more workhorses, more like Antonio right now, who just by his work ethic and persistence would get us goals. If we had more Antonios on the pitch, not necessarily the best quality, but best just keep on like a battering ram, just keep on going at opposition defenses are possibly better options. Okay, Gary, one protest a month, not enough for everybody to go to their seats 5 minutes after kickoff, then cheer the team every home game. Yeah, look, I mean, I suppose after the first protest, that's what the question I asked, or was asking after. So look, this is, I don't want to keep on harping about the protest at all. But I was basically saying, look, it's good, and they're saying the right things, and for me, they're saying the right things. And I stood there, listened, just and I could hear everything going on. So, and they're saying the right things, but it's like, what next? What now? What's the next thing they're going to do? When's the next protest? It's almost like you can't just have one. And I know they're not going to have one; they're going to have more. But it's what do they do, and who's going to listen, and are they going to listen, and will they make any change? The scary thing is we put out our strongest team because of injuries. Yeah, well, I think it pretty much was. We weren't playing the kids today. We were playing, seniors. But again, we just poor Sanchez, really. Balbuena, who I'm a real fan of. But he's just terrible performance today. Terrible passing, terrible everything. Just rubbish. I mean, just defensively, we're terrible. Brandon, hello. Hello, thank you for joining. This year is a worst year unless something happens. Liverpool, Brighton, Man City, Wolves, Liverpool. I think that's right. How many points do you think? I'll be surprised if we get 1 point out of that. Yeah, you can tell how confident I am. For me, they are all games that we can put in a massive performance and come away with a point a game, let's say. Minimum. Maybe Brighton, we might be able to get something. But I just don't think the way we're playing and the way we're going forward and the way we're trying to have shots on goal and creating opportunities, just don't think we have the quality, the energy, the pace, and the players right now to cause a threat. I'll be surprised if we get any points at all, Brandon. That's the worrying thing about all of this. And I said earlier on, I said this could be the same sort of season, really bad season like Derby County had a couple of years ago. Or whenever they got relegated 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was, I can't remember. But they hardly had anything. I know there are teams below us, and I know I'm probably overreacting a little bit. But after this little run of games, I think I'll be amazed. It'd be a miracle if we're not in the bottom three. Absolute miracle. And let's not forget, I've always said this because people keep on saying, there are 3 teams worse than us and all that kind of stuff. I disagree. I don't think there are 3 teams worse than us. I think actually those other 3 teams are just having poor results or results go against them. But I don't think they're worse than us. I think they are all showing a lot more fight than we are, But there we go. Do you think bringing Teddy Sheringham back as a striker coach would help our strikers? I think anything will work at this moment in time. Anything would work. Anything would help. It's almost like, for me, it's almost like this. When you've got troubles in the camp, when you've got troubles in the family, what do? You close ranks. You get your nearest and dearest together. You get, everybody and say, right, we've got to sort this out. We've got to sort this out. And that means that get next pros in and say, right, come on, let's everybody come in. Let's all give, a week of our time and let's come and sort this out. Offer little pearls of wisdom. One ex-pro with one individual player. Look, you can do this. You can work on that. That's the kind of thing. But here's the thing. How many ex-players would do that for us, for our club? Or let me put it this way, for our owners who we know have pissed off loads of ex-pros. How many? I don't think many would come anyway. But you're right, that could be a word. And also it's got to be, with the approval and embraced by Moyes as well. He's got to want to bring these people in as well. Paul, reckons a draw against Brighton. It could be. If we get a draw, I think we go, Paul, we need Jesus. He's the only one who can help us. Well, there we go. I'm not religious, but I think I might find it very soon. Zassa's played 3 games in a week. Is he going to play another second? The problem is we're asking too much of Zabaleta. Now, the only reason Zabaleta is playing, Zabaleta has been a good servant to us, and I've really liked him, but he's too old to be playing regular. Zabaleta is he was kept on because we had Fredericks, we had Johnson coming up through the ranks as well, both out of it. So we're having to rely on him, and he shouldn't be that one. It's just like Roberto in goal, and we've had to kick him out. We've got nobody else because Fabianski's injured, so therefore we bring on Martin. That's it. We shouldn't be there. David Truluck. Sorry, I don't know how you pronounce that name. What do they do in training? Just like any team, they're going through different tactics, different drills. There's going to be a lot of stamina, endurance training, all that kind of stuff. But really, now they're in the thick of the season. So in terms of health and fitness, they should be there anyway. This is going to be down to the tactics, and it's not even on the training. It's going to be in the classroom. It's going to be in the debriefs. All that kind of stuff. Brandon, there we go. What did I say? There we go. Right. Thank you, Brandon. Right. Here we go. Connor. Hello. Here we go. Right. Colin, roll on Liverpool and Man City. You might see some goals. Yeah. Against us. Well, do you know, when a couple of seasons ago, when we first, I think it was when we first got thumped by Man City at home, and Moyes was the manager. And people kind of making allowances, saying, "Oh, it's Man City. Well, they're going to thrash us." And I was hopping mad. I said, "No, it doesn't matter who the opposition is. It's totally unacceptable for any expectation that we're going to get thumped. Actually, the expectation should be that we're going to put up a really good fight. If it's backs against the wall, if it's swords in hand, if it's somebody asked about soldiers there, that's what we need. Yeah, and if we go down fighting, we go down fighting, but at least we put up a fight. But in that game, I think we lost 4-1 at home. It was a case of, well, we didn't even put up a fight. They were just running circles around us, and we were just running around. Something you even said earlier on, headless chickens. And that's the problem. Every time we're going down to these big teams or these really great teams, or you've got to say in terms of the way they play football, we're not even giving up. We just don't really have much of a plan. And now that has become more and more evident against all the other teams around us. You can't even say lesser teams. I used to say, oh yeah, all those lesser teams. It's not lesser teams. They're better than us. But, it's so evident against these other teams, that we're just not good enough and we can't compete, and we're not competing. But that's exactly what we should be doing, at least in effort, at least in, if you run your socks off, that's what it is. And that's what Moyes needs to do to the players and say, right, here we go, draw a line in the sand. Right now, what we've done up until now, forget it. It's gone. It's done. We're out the cups. We're fourth from bottom. Forget it. This is where we start now. We've got all these teams we're going to play. Wouldn't it be great if we went to these teams and they couldn't beat us? Yeah? If they couldn't beat us, wouldn't that be great? Because we can put up a fight. And then all of a sudden, you get those players believing in something, believing in the spark, believing in the glimmer of hope. And it's mind games. This is all mind games. This is all psychology, psychological warfare. This is all this is. And it's about frustrating, having the energy and the power and the commitment and the tactics to not lose a game. I'm not talking about parking the bus here. I'm just talking talking about having a commitment to stop the opposition playing. And that's what annoys me, as I said, when you got these other teams think that you can come and steamroll over you and you let them do it. Actually, you should never let any team do that to you. You know, if they outplay you and you put up a massive fight, okay, that's different. But if you let them do it, that's totally wrong. You know, if you've ever seen the film, you know, Rocky, the very first Rocky, when he goes to fight Apollo Creed, right? He goes around Apollo Creed, and then he has a quiet moment just before the game. He says, "I can't win." I can't remember the exact words, but he's basically saying to himself, "I can't win." I think he says to his girlfriend, "I can't win. I can't win." But nobody's ever gone the distance. Nobody's ever gone the distance with Apollo Creed, right? This is exactly the same. Everybody's expecting us to lose. Everybody thinks that we're the chumps, you know, going up against Liverpool's and Man City's. But I tell you what, if we put up a fight, we'll shock a few people. We'll probably even shock ourselves. But that's the way we've got to do it. Am I talking bollocks? Probably. But you know what? Who cares? You know. Paul, thank you. No, thank you. John. Here we go. Hiya, what's the word on this player, Nash? And do you like him? I don't know. There are so many rumours right now about different players. You know, who we're offering for, who we're not offering for. Do they want to come? They don't want to accept the terms. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, Cash. Sorry, I meant to say the Forest player. I think you're on about. Yeah, decent player. But you know, if I'm a Forest owner, manager, I wouldn't want to see him go. They're fighting for playoff places themselves. Why would you want to sell, you know, your best assets? Stupid, you know, decision making. Not for us if we can get him, but you know, again, it's about players that come in and hit the ground running. You know, Dom, don't laugh. I would never laugh. No, if we got a result against Liverpool as a win, would we push on for that? I think we would. And this is why I keep on going on about performance and, you know, effort and energy, because what happens is you get this momentum going, you get this mentality going, and this is what is so upsetting about this terrible cup exit, because we've missed an opportunity, as we have done in previous seasons. Now we've missed opportunities to build on. And I'm not saying we go on a massive cup run for the sake of going on a massive cup run, for going on to Wembley. I'm not talking about that, actually, because that would be a dreamy great. And I've been lucky in my West Ham supporting career, if you like, that I've had 3 FA Cup finals. You know, I've had 2 wins. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very fortunate, and I know I am. But, you know, but I don't even expect us to get anywhere near a cup final. It would be great to go on a cup run. But I always say that any momentum, any effort that you put in the cup, in either cup, FA Cup, League Cup, that carries on into the league. That's what you take. That's what you take into the league. And why have we gone on this such a crappy run? And I'll tell you what it is. Because we failed in the league games just before, well, in and around the Oxford game, where they stuffed us, and we obviously failed in the League Cup game there, and it was just a downward spiral, and everybody's thinking, what the hell's going on? It's like you know, it's like you got kicked in the teeth, and then you got kicked in the teeth again, and guess what? I'm going to kick you in the bollocks as well, just for good measure. And everybody's feeling really down about themselves. But I'm absolutely convinced if we get a good result, it doesn't have to be a win, a good result, we take that into the next game. We take that into the next game. We start believing. The crowd start believing. We start getting behind the team even more than we are, you know, and I'm absolutely convinced of it. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I've never believed this. And I'll say it's hand on my heart. I've never bought into this notion that you're not a proper fan if you don't support, if you don't go to the games, or you're not a proper fan if you don't live in, you know, East London or anywhere around, you know, wherever, or you weren't born there. Absolute load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. If you're a fan, you're a fan, and you support the club in any way you can. There's loads of people who lived, brought up right next to a stadium or to the club and never could go because they just can't afford it. They don't have the financial awareness about it. It annoys the hell out of me when people say you're not a fan. Too many people out there claiming to be number one fans as well. Absolute load of rubbish. We're all fans. Doesn't matter where you're from in the world. And that's why I do this. And that's why everybody else at Irons United and all the other fan channels, I'm sure, as well. Let's give them a mention as well. Okay, they deal with this because they enjoy it. We want to bring information to you as well. We want to give you what's on the finger on the pulse, as it were. But you want to get us all talking about this. That the media don't talk about. Yeah, you can tell I'm angry. You can tell I'm angry. I'm pissed off by today. And look, you can tell I'm angry because I've come and done a live show. I've been doing it for an hour and just spouting off by myself. There we go, look. But Dom, yes, I won't laugh because I'm not in the laughing mood tonight. But yeah, if we got a result, it would just kick us on. Kick us on, mate. Gary, what if the players are training properly for Moyes and he is buggered? He has to use them. What if the players are training properly? Well, yeah, I don't think Moyes knows what he's supposed to be doing with the players that he's got. I don't think he's found, as I say, he has found that key ingredient to them right now. He hasn't got them. He hasn't got them working. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think he's got it right now. Considering how bad we were today, there is no way we are going to get anything against Liverpool. Craig -C. I'm sure you're absolutely right. But I'm not talking about getting a result. I'm not talking about winning. I'm talking about the effort to try. And even if we don't get a draw, I'm sure, win. Forget about winning, right? I'm talking about getting a draw. That's a result. Even if we don't, and we narrowly lose, let's say, we take that performance, that goodness out of that game, and we take it into the Brighton game. That's where we make our money. Okay, we don't make our money on the Liverpool game. We make our money on the Brighton game, and that's what we've all got to think about. Any positive you need to love the club and fans? This lot don't. Well, yeah, that's right. People question their, whether they're fans or not. Or I don't know. Listen, hey, I think Anton is going to come and join us as well. I think. Should I just bring him in? Here we go. Anton.
Hi,
hello,
guys. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear, mate. Loud and clear.
Perfect. Thank
Right,
you.
I've been going at this over an hour now. I've been
I noticed. I didn't realise you were still on.
Bloody hell, I'm just going for it tonight, and everybody's joining in the chat as well. So,
brilliant,
listen,
good man.
Tell us your thoughts about today, Anton. Let's know, because everybody's been hearing me spout off for the last hour. Let me know your thoughts.
I've not watched the show, Alf, so I can only assume you're spouting off and you're grumbling left, right, and centre, and I'll join you in the grumble. But
big time.
I don't know what else we can really talk about, to be honest, because no heart, no desire, no fight. I don't know if I'm even past the stage of saying there's any positives.
Yeah.
There's a couple of positives, maybe, but I mean, that's not enough. I mean, we're clutching at straws, to be honest. The boards just need to spend money. I think I've written in a group to us today, I was saying that does Moyes want it? Does Moyes want players?
Yeah.
Because, it gets to the point where it's going to get embarrassing. Now, I know we are joint on points, second bottom, and we're a couple of points from jumping out of that position of relegation. Yeah. But
sure.
With our running we've got coming up, it just doesn't look great. And we've been doing shows pretty much most of this week, and the biggest concern I've got is the fact that we're not going to go into the market. But the funny thing is, Alf, there's decent loan players out there. Like, I'm not all for loans, but
no.
In actual fact, the funny thing is, the loan deals that are potentially to be had are actually positive ones. Like Barclay's available. Nzonzi's available, and them two would make a difference alone. Apparently, Kessie's available; he would make a difference alone. So I don't buy the fact that there's no one there available and there's not players that can come in and quickly step into the position. Because, but by no means, I mean, Alf, West Brom outplayed us completely today.
Yeah,
they were they looked like the Premier League team.
Yeah, totally. They played a simple game for me. They played a simple, effective game. And
but did you notice every time they were on the ball, though, Alf, they looked very confident, very capable, very clever. They looked like they could actually play football, where I felt like a couple of times West Ham had the ball. I mean, you've got to look at, like, Balbuena gave, I mean, in the first half, he gave away,
we talked about it,
5 or 6 balls.
Yeah.
And then you've got to look throughout the team, you think creativity, you think what's happened to Lanzini. I mean, Fornals was hitting a bit of form, but the West Ham way was to drop him, and now he's got to find his feet again. And Sebastian Haller is, I don't know, mate. I think the problem is maybe it's gone so far that how do you bring these players back from the position that they're in? Like, when Sebastian Haller had signed, there was this big buzz about him, and he was probably buzzing about coming to West Ham. But I'm lost for words. I'm not lost for words because I've just spoke for 5 minutes, but I'm not.
No. Well, look, exactly. We'll feel the same. Look, I mean, let's just talk about Balbuena for a little bit, because I've got a bit of a man crush on Balbuena. I've got to say, I think he's a bloody good player, but he is prone every now and again to have shockers and shocking passes. And today, he was the worst I've ever seen him play.
Yeah,
I've never seen him play that badly before.
Alf, can I be brutally honest with you though? Yeah, all of our defence are like that.
Yeah, well, I totally agree. We were crap.
And no, but I mean that sincerely. I'm not. This is removing jokes from aside. Like, it's fine that people can say that Ogbonna is going to be Hammer of the Year, but Ogbonna's Hammer of the Year in a year we're potentially going to get relegated, conceding probably the most goals we've ever conceded. Yeah. So he's only kept a bit of stability. He is not by no means our best defender. Diop's by no means our best defender. He's still learning. Balbuena's by no means our best defender. Creswell by no means is our best defender. Zabaletta's legs are gone. Fredericks is in and out of the side. I mean, but we are talking about Balbuena. I get your man crush, sorry, and the point is, today was, in my opinion, his worst game in his West Ham career. I mean, he was not confident. He looked like he was panicking every time he got the ball. He reminded me of an amateur footballer. He actually looked like an amateur footballer today. He looked like every time the ball came to him, he either wanted to pass it back or whack the ball up top. And whether or not that ended up in the opposition's hands, then that's exactly what actually happened.
Yeah.
I'm so concerned. I don't know how many times I've said it in the group where we talk to individually. Everyone goes on about up top and up front, and we can't score goals. But Alf, I've been harping on for years. Even in the last season at Upton Park, we still conceded a lot of goals. But since then, we have been awful in defence, and we've never ever repaired that. We tried our best. We tried our best to do it, but we've never really gone out and done that properly, to be honest.
Yeah,
sorry,
we've got a similar kind of footballing, playing background. I mean, I was sort of defence and play goal as well, but defence as well. I think you were defence as well, weren't you?
Yeah, centre half.
But I'm a strong believer, and maybe it's my Italian background as well. But you build a team from defence. You build a team from defence, and you make it strong. And you make it that it's an impenetrable fortress, and you start to build on that and start playing forward with a good midfield and an attack. We've never had that. For years we haven't had that, but certainly in the last sort of few years we haven't had.
I'll be honest with you. The last real time I've ever felt confident, and this is me taking back the debate of. 3-4 years ago was when we had I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. When Winston Reid was in our team, he's missing, and I get he might not come back the same player. But the last time we had a solid defence, a comfortable defence, was the year probably before we left Upton Park, and the year of leaving Upton Park, but I still
Yeah.
remember conceding a lot of goals.
Yeah.
The problem is throughout the whole team. We've harped on for 3 seasons now, saying where's Creswell's form gone since the last season at Upton Park, and we've been harping on about I think, was it you said the other day, Alf, that we went through that time where we had to get rid of a lot of dead wood? I can't remember if it was yourself said that in one of the shows recently, but the problem is, I feel now that the dead wood is I remember the last time we got rid of dead wood, you were talking about players like Kovac. Remember we had Kovac in our team and all players of that kind of standard. Then we got rid of the Nordvites and moving forward a couple of years, we got rid of the Nordvites, the Tors, the Figulis, that kind of dead wood. Now we're getting rid of dead wood that we signed for potentially 20 million, 12 million, 15, all that sort of stuff. And but there's a lot of players that need to be cleared out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And a lot of players, it needs to be an overhaul, because the thing is, it is an overhaul because I think we could bring in 3 players to this side.
Yeah.
But we'll still play that specific way.
Exactly. I mean, people talk about transfers and all that. I'm totally with you in that we shouldn't buy anybody. Right now, do not buy anybody. Loan. Pay over the odds for loan players.
Yeah.
Pay over the odds for loan players that come in and hit the ground running. Somebody said earlier on in one of the chats just a few minutes ago, sorry, I forgot who it was. They said, what about Pedro at Chelsea? Yeah, look, go after these players. Just go. Well, it's too late now. We should have already gone after these players.
Yeah, I do agree,
anyone who's not getting first team football, do you want to come and have a loan spell at West Ham to the end of the season? Right. And if that means you get 6 or 7 loan players in or whatever it is, and you invest and you try and protect the cash cow money that is the Premier League coming in, that's what you do. The owners haven't done it.
The loan players that we're talking about in particular are on the cusp of potentially going to an international summer, and they're vying for an opportunity to get selected in a squad. Yeah. So we've got to be looking at players like the Barclays of the world. Yeah. Because apart from the fact that whether you think he's in and out of the Chelsea side just now, if he gets a run of games for a team like West Ham and he does well, that's his best opportunity from getting taken to the Euros.
But he doesn't want to come. He's already said he doesn't want to come.
I know.
Loads of these players have said they don't want to come.
Do you know what, Alf? Does it surprise you though? Who would want to come? Maybe we can only attract a Pellegrini that no one else wants.
Do you know how you do it? With that. See that? That is a big fat wallet. What you do, you open it and you say, how much is it again? It's like when you want to buy something off somebody who doesn't want to sell, right? And you say, right, I love your car. And they say, well, I ain't selling it. They say, right, here's a £5. Here's a £5. I want that car. They said, no, I don't want selling it. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. You keep on going until they say, the money he's offering me, I can go and buy 2 fucking cars for that. There we go. Yes, we will. And that's it. This is desperation stakes now. Usually, I would say, don't be so bloody stupid with your money. Think a bit, don't spend so, unwisely. But that's, if they want these players, they should have done it already.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be honest, Alf, this should have been done 3 seasons ago, to be honest.
Well, look, I'm with you totally. Totally. Because that's where we've been let down. And I think the whole point, we were sold a dream to go over to the London Stadium. Everybody bought into it. Yeah, we better times and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't supported financially.
Why do we think, though, why do we get sucked in every single transfer window? I feel this is the first window maybe I'm not sucked into this. I feel like, surely to God, we're going to go and sign these players, blah, 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 and we just don't do it. And I'm really concerned this time because we really need backup. We need instant backup, players that can jump into that first team and go. And they're not going to sell the likes of Lanzini. And I don't particularly, I get people's points by saying maybe you could go and get 25 million and reinvest that money. They ain't going to do it, but I don't think we should do it. Yeah, I don't think that's the right decision to do.
Yeah, I don't think we should be getting rid of any players right now. If that's going to happen, let's do that in the summer. Right now, we need to keep who we've got.
Yeah, What's Brian saying? He's saying Balbuena is usually decent when it comes to defending, but I've always thought his distribution was poor. Actually, thought, if I'm being honest, I thought his distribution was okay. But see, to be honest, this season is not really anything to go by because I genuinely just don't have faith in a West Ham defence. I really don't. I have no faith at all in the West Ham side, let alone the defence. So I can't.
Look,
really...
Gary says here we can't go back in time. Absolutely right. We can't. Right, and I've said this. It's going to take a generation now for all of this crap to be sorted out. But there are certain things that we can do now, or the club should have done, or the owners should have done already to, address this. Here we go. We've got another one from who's that? Gigi.
Do you know what? It's a name. The name he's talking about there. I might get slagged off for this, but why not?
Who?
Jesse Lingard from Man United.
Oh.
Now, he's not on form. He's not playing well at all. He's not even getting started at Manchester United.
That's an interesting one.
I'm not a fan of his social media. I'm not a fan of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of social media, full stops.
Yeah, but when he plays well, and when he was on form, and he was on form a couple of seasons ago, and he was on form for England, he is sometimes unplayable. And do you know what, Gigi? You make a massive point. There's another decent loan that West Ham can get. Yeah. And people might turn around and say to me, oh, Lingard's, he's shit. But do you know what? We're West Ham. Who else can we attract? We have to attract these sort of players that can make a difference under this current board. We could sit here and dream and think, well, let's go and get this and go and get that. I've seen that we've done in our review that was on, Dan Love mentioned Balotelli. Bring him in. We need someone who's going to be a bit of a bastard up top and cause concern. And do you know what? See if he causes a ruckus in the changing room. Good, because the changing room must be so bloody boring right now. It's just unbelievable.
So we got another comment here from Nick Clouting, I think. And basically said, do you see how hungry and organised the Wolves players were last night? We look light years behind. I think Wolves. Look, I tell you what, I've got two of my mates, really good mates, best mates really, I suppose. Since school, we're school friends, so it's not often you stay in touch with your school friends. Anyway, so they are both Wolves fans, and for years and years and years, they're always a kind of the butt of our jokes, just saying, "Bloody Wolves over there." I met up with them a few weeks ago, and I was saying, do you know what? Wolves are just like Leicester, as we've been saying. We West Ham should be like Wolves. Yeah, this is where we should be. And you're there, and fair play to you because you're playing fantastic football. It's committed football. You're trying, and it's shown. And even if you lose, like Wolves did the other night, was it 2-1 they lost against Liverpool? Do you know what? Everybody can go away happy thinking we've put up a decent fight there. And how often have we lost games and thinking we didn't really show it, did we?
Alf, there's a lot of pressure on Liverpool's heads come Wednesday. I know I'm going to get ripped and slagged off for even remotely trying to think about a positive result. But it is very typical West Ham, even in a really crap season, that we at some point will absolutely go against the gods of the world who will determine how the results will work in the footballing brains and blah, blah, blah. And Liverpool are in form and they're smashing teams left, right and centre.
Yeah.
And West Ham are not in form and things are not good and blah, blah, blah. But I still can't put it past us to go and get something on Wednesday night. I can't. I genuinely can't, because this is going to be one of those ones. It's typical right now, I feel like it is with West Ham. When we play Leicester, I said that we'll get smashed by Leicester or we'll just keep a victory. And I feel like this has got that potential. This game has got that potential. Liverpool could slip up, no problem at all. And, I just can't see this season going so rosy for everyone all the time. So bad for West Ham every single week, because at some point we're going to need to pick up points. Yeah. I heard you, maybe I'm just in dream world, and I heard you saying that Brighton game becomes so important, and it does.
Yeah.
That's where we, brushing the Liverpool game aside, if we could get a point from that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Then
exactly.
Going into the Brighton game is so important.
Yeah.
But so important for both ways. If we lose the Brighton game and we can't pull a victory together against Brighton after not pulling a victory at home against West Brom, after not pulling a victory against Liverpool, and the trouble we're in, not signing players, the day later the transfer window closes, we'd be as well. Just
Yeah.
That's it. Done.
Listen, I'm going to bring in another comment here, and just to show that I'm a fair person. This is from a West Brom fan. FSVL Thoughts said, "What happened, mate?" I think the other one basically said, "Come on, you baggies," and like every team seems to be saying, "Come on, you," and then putting the first letter of their name.
I tell you what, what's your name? SVL Forts. Well done, mate. Like,
yeah, we did. Look, that's what I put out there. Look, it's fine. Look, beat us fair and square.
You did.
You showed you wanted it more. You played better than us. But anyway, I'm sorry because you're a West Brom fan. I'm gonna have to replace you now. There we go.
But I'm gonna kind of just touch on them because I think that they're in the Championship. They're playing really well. They've bought into Slaven Bilic. They've bought into his methods. They've bought into the players that he wants to sign. He seems to have a real strong control over his transfer kitty and what players he wants.
Yeah.
Maybe the Championship's different to the Premier League. He is a extremely polite, friendly guy. He's always respectful when he talks about West Ham. He is always respectful when he talks about the West Ham board. So I believe he's a really strong professional. I'm intrigued to know. I wonder if he keeps saying stuff like that because of one day in his life he hopes to maybe come back. But the thing is, he's got all the players he wants, the side playing the way he wants. West Ham, everyone knows that Bilic is capable at the end of the day. He can be capable of doing what he needs to do. Yeah. And I think I think the fans need to take a bit of responsibility for the whole Bilic situation, to be honest, because I'll hold my hand up. It got to the point where maybe the week before he got sacked, I was like, yeah, it's time for him to go. It's time for him to go. I mean, who are we? Who are we? Like, why are we suddenly just chopping managers left, right, and centre?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
What are we expecting? I mean, Pellegrini came in and look what happened. Moyes has been in. Look what happened, and I just wonder maybe maybe.
Well, there are lots of things that happened at the same time, though. And there are lots of things. Lots of promises were made. The big move to the stadium, the whole rise of social media, and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's expectation is way up there, and because it's up there, because you've been fed this whole illusion of where the club should be. Also, anything that's not a fantastic performance and a fantastic result, all of a sudden we're all hopping mad.
Yeah,
and that's the reason. But as I said before, we've had loads of years, loads of games throughout our history where we've been absolutely poor, but we didn't have that expectation, and we didn't have that kind of, whilst we've had board issues in the past and ownership issues with the Icelandics, with the Browns, all this kind of, you could go throughout our history of problems, the bond scheme, whatever. It's been a whole catalogue of issues throughout our history. But still, we still had one place that was definitely on hand, and who weren't sold a pack of lies in terms of or false promises or lack of investment. We knew where we were. We'd win a few, we'd lose a few, we'd have some good years, we'd have some crappy years. That's it. You support your club as a boy or as a girl, and that's it. But you accept the way it is.
Yeah.
Our expectations are way too high. This is not a fan's fault, by the way. This is not our fault for being like this. This is just that this is a situation that we find ourselves in now.
I don't think we've replaced Arnautovic from that comment that's coming up. It's a no-brainer. We've not. A mixture of his ability and a mixture of his problem causing problems, and maybe a Balotelli could come in and do that. I don't think he's the same sort of player, but you're telling me now if you put Balotelli up top, Alfie wouldn't cause the opposition problems. He would. He may cause West Ham problems, but
I'd have Balotelli like a shot. I'd have Balotelli like a shot. I said that right at the start of the season. Bring in Balotelli.
Yeah, 100%.
Because sometimes you need somebody. Yeah, look, would he call Shrubby absolutely right? He would, but I would have him just for the fun factor. I'd have him.
Yeah. Brian says they're letting all those strikers go in the summer and not replacing them as always is going to be a bad move. You need 4 good strikers in the EPL.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, mate. I said it doesn't matter how many strikers we bring in. It's West Ham. We don't service them. We will not get the best out of them. For any fan, I'm sorry to turn around and slag. You may as well slag off every single signing we have made, but they tend to either before they come to us or after they leave us, go away and do something and go and score goals elsewhere because they've played to their advantages. Now, maybe Hernandez, who I harped on about for so long, didn't do that, but he wasn't given a massive amount of chance. But in theory, he did West Ham. I mean, every club he went to, he had a supporting man up there and someone sitting in behind, supporting them too up top. And he was, and when he sat at West Ham, he was isolated. And we saw the odd time when he was supported what he was capable of, and bang, we got rid of him. I mean, Ajeti, I thought Ajeti was keen. He was desperate to get to balls, and I thought that was nice to see. But I mean, it's a little bit too little, too late. Like, well, maybe it's not too little, too late. I mean, let's think back to the days of John Hartson and Paul Kitson. I know times are different, but I mean, having them two come in it was unbelievable and saved us that season when they both came in. So there's definitely an opportunity there, but I still don't think I've seen enough from Ajeti to prove that he is our answer. But I mean, I said the other night, I mean, players like Morelos from Rangers who are banging in goals left, right, and centre. I tell you something. There's your Arnautovic replacement. He is a pain in the arse.
Exactly.
For the club to manage, but for other clubs to come up against. And he's the sort of guy we need. He's a bulldog. He's ratty. He gets stuck in a challenge. Yeah. He leaves his foot in sometimes. I'm not condoning that, but he is capable of scoring a goal. He's capable of assisting opportunities. Sure. He's potentially available for a good price. Yeah. We're not going to get him on loan. It needs to be a signing. Is it a gamble? You know, it's funny you say, Alf, maybe some players you do need to sign and take the risk on, because if we did take the risk on someone like Morelos, and I don't think we'll get him, because I think clubs will come out that are going to offer him European football and stuff like that.
Well, I think there's a couple of teams after him, aren't they? Yeah.
If we get relegated, then we've got a player who probably will smash up the Championship. Yeah. So, you know, there's a couple of players there that are definitely out for the taking, and we could definitely go and get if we really, really wanted to. But you're right. Something's not right. I don't know whether...
But look, even if we got players in, here's the thing. You know, it's a typical thing. You know, we get our players in and they just don't start playing well. So if we get the players in, then we've got to change. Everything's got to change immediately. And the only one who can do that is Moyes. Moyes is the only one right now who can change the way we play, the manner in which we play, the pace and everything. And that's it. He's the only one who can do it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know whether he's the right man for the job or not, it doesn't matter right now. Actually, he is the man for the job because that's the one we've got. Yeah. You know, so he's got to be the one who's got to say, right, okay, if we get players in, let's say on loan deals, whatever, we've got to just change it completely. We've got to change the way we're attacking teams. And pressing teams and defending against teams and a whole attitude towards games. And I think it definitely has changed since Pellegrini under Moyes. And I've said this before, earlier on tonight, that he just hasn't got to grips with the players and where he should be playing them and the best team. And, you know, he's sort of tinkering with formations, you know, five at the back or wing backs, whether three and wing backs. 4-4-2, whatever. He's 4-3-3. He's trying. I don't think he's not trying. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there going to totally disagree with me and blame Moyes for everything. And that's your prerogative to do that. But I just don't think he's got to grips with them yet. And they are such a shower of shoddiness, the squad and the players and their performances, that I think he's wondering, what the hell have I got myself into?
Yeah. 100%.
You know, that's it. But anyway, look. Alf,
I'm probably going to have to go in the next couple of minutes. So,
well, listen, I think I'll leave it there. I could probably rant on until midnight. If you want me to carry on ranting, I'll go until midnight.
See, before I go though, can I just announce to anyone who's watching, we've got a live transfer deadline day video coming up. Like, when is it finishing? When's the deadline up?
That's Thursday, is it? No, that's not right.
What's the date today? It's
25th.
So 31. So Saturday, Sunday, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30. What is it? Friday? Friday.
Is it on the 31st? Is it? Midnight?
I think it is. Yeah. No, 11 o'clock, I think. 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Okay, 11 o'clock Friday.
I'll tell you what, I should have probably got the details, but we're going to be doing a live transfer deadline day video. We're going to have some special guests coming on. We've got a confirmation of one coming on tonight, so they'll come on next week. We'll bring a few of the guys in from Man United. Hopefully we'll be doing some deals, but if not, we'll just be talking about West Ham in general, and also the other signings that are taking place throughout the Premier League. So we'll maybe come on a couple of hours before the deadline closes. We'll give you those.
And also,
videos.
Anybody's listening, just make sure that if you want to come on one of the videos and talk any of my shows or any of the other shows, if you want to come as a guest, then send in an email via the website and let us know, and we'll get in touch with you.
Guys, I can't stress that enough. If you are watching right now and you haven't even hit on the comments, it's not a big deal. You don't need to hit on the comments, but if you fancy coming on, we're like really easy guys. Like, we're not looking for anyone to have the ability to blah 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 blah, but just come in and have a chat and let us know your opinion. It's really cool. Like, you've seen my dad comes on, Alf comes on, like everyone, we all get in and have a right good moan, etc. Of course, we've got Alf's Grumble, which sometimes turns into an oi oi, which sometimes turns into a confidential show. We've got Stell's West Ham Weekly. We've got transfer updates. The transfer updates are based upon players that we hear that are linked with us, and what we try and do is bring you some news on them. Of course, we do the gift to the gab. We do previews and reviews, but we really appreciate your feedback, and it really does make us keep doing this and keep giving you as much as we possibly can. But we are West Ham more than we are Irons United, so that's what you need to remember. Yeah,
that's right. So we're just basic West Ham fans, just trying to bring you information and opinion from wherever we are. If we can bring you some insight from inside the club or outside the stadium, especially if you're not regular West Ham, goers, or you can't get to games, that for me, that's why I do it. 3 years ago, you'd never see me on YouTube or social media talking about football. I just used to watch my football, go to games, whatever. That was it. And then Anton caught me.
Yeah, it was a bit of a chance one, wasn't it, Alf?
Anton caught me, and it was just like, oh yeah.
we had a review going out for a game, and one of the guys couldn't come on, and I think I put a tweet out or something. And I think I'd seen you doing some stuff anyway, Alf. You were doing quite a lot of stuff.
Well, I was writing.
Yeah, you were writing a lot, sorry. And then you came on and, just hit it off. And it's marriage made in heaven.
Pity our players aren't having a good marriage, I suppose, isn't it?
Exactly. So listen, I'm going to head. I'll let you close off, Alf.
Okay.
And I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers.
Brilliant. Right, cheers, Adam. Thank you, mate. Right, well, there you go, everybody. That's the end of my West Ham Grumble. FA Cup Grumble, a special one here. West Brom. They beat us 1-0, and they deserved it. Yes, they did. And we didn't. We've got a long way to go. 15 games to the end of the season. Yes, guess what? We can concentrate now. Focus on the Premier League. Massive games coming up against us. Let's see if their boys can put in any kind of performance, any kind of committed performance. Let's see if we can get points. That's it. Just get points. And if by some miracle of miracles that we can avoid relegation, then great. But it's just it comes down to the players now, and it comes down to who, if any, we can get in. But worst case scenario, if we don't get anybody in, it comes down to the players, what performance they can come in or put out, what our defense is going to be. Can we get any shots on goal? Can we score goals? Obviously, and Moyes. It comes down to Moyes, and but let's be under no illusion. We are in a shower of a predicament, and also the problems don't go away. The problems at the club are still there. The problems at the club will always be there unless they have, a root cause, complete shake-up of the club, complete change of the club, complete everything. Everything needs to change. And if they do that, then great. But if they don't, then we'll be here 2, 3 years, 4 years time, still saying the same thing. Which isn't, that's not the way it should be. There should be change. There should have been change. 4 years at London Stadium, or what, 3.5 years at London Stadium, not good enough. Not good enough by a long shot. And we're not talking about this game. We're not talking about this season. We're not talking about going down or whatever. We're talking about the whole club, the fabric of the club, the future of the club, the fan base, or what it means to us. And that's it. Just not good enough. Right. Anyway, but look, thanks for joining in. Thanks for leaving all your chats, all your comments as well, and leave all comments below at the end of the video as well. Let us know what you think, and please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And lots more videos coming. If you want to come on the show as a West Ham fan, then let us know by the emails on the website as well. At IslandUnited.wordpress.com. Links in the description below. Right. Anyway, good night, everybody. And look, go and have a few drinks on me. Right. 8:10. Go and do it. Right. Up the hammers. Ta-ra. Oh, yeah, done.